Okay, everybody, thanks for coming for Seven Commitments of a Great Team. We're just starting this book by Jon Gordon. We just finished the Energy Bus, which was great. And so now we're gonna fly through the Seven Commitments of a Great Team. So if you have read Energy Bus, I feel like this started very similarly, where the first few chapters aren't super relevant to all the things that we want. It just kind of gives the background on him, and you know he's got a business that's not doing great, and shares about a football coach that he had in college that was fantastic. um the main thing I underlined in chapter one, the only thing, was teammates are forever, and so are coaches who change your life. Which I super agree with. Anybody have anything else from chapter one or two? I didn't underline anything in two.
I wrote nothing down for those chapters.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like he just gives these quick little backgrounds
Mhm.
of people. Um, but in chapter three, that's when he what he does is he has the players write down their goals on a piece of paper and then wad them up and throw them away. And they're all like, "What?" And the coach goes into talking about how your goals will not take you where you want to go, but your commitments will. And I am such a goal-oriented, focused person. That's really the first time I'd heard that. And I think I naturally make that connection, because we talk so often about our actions and what actions do we need to do to reach our goals. But I hadn't really thought about it like that. Like my goal is, that's not actually a verb, it's not actually getting me anywhere. Um, so what do you guys think? What were your thoughts with
I
that?
actually really don't like goals.
Okay.
So
I
I
can't
I am
wait to
I
hear
have
that.
never ever liked setting goals, but because they feel so distant or out of my control, I feel like especially in this business, for me to set a goal that involves my team feels silly to me because I cannot control them. I cannot control their actions. I can encourage them. But that's not a goal. Like, I can't do that. And so when I switch my brain to thinking about it as what am I going to do towards something that I desire, that makes so much more sense to me. So when we think about what am I committed to, it switches it from being a control power thing into a personal thing. And so when you think about what am I committed to, it leads us to specific actions instead of these like lofty goals of hopes and dreams, right? Like those aren't bad, but and it also like a goal, or they're often so big we forget to break it down into those doable things,
Mhm.
and it's just like, well, now I don't know what to do, like I just kind of hope it happens, right? Like a commitment leads us to the action, the verb, right?
Yeah.
When you
No.
say that, Sunny, it makes me think of like basically taking extreme ownership. When you said that, I was
Yeah.
like, yes, like taking extreme ownership of your business and your goals and your dreams, because we are leading a volunteer army.
Hmm.
So I love
Hmm.
that. It's really
Yeah.
good insight.
And we can be knocked off the rails in a minute. I mean, last week I had a great call with a lady who's like, "I'm going to join. I want to work the business. This is what I want to make. It's going to be great." She was supposed to order last night, and this morning she sent me a message. "I just decided it's not for me now." And I'm like, "Wait, you're supposed to be one of my senior silvers. We're going icon. How do you miss the memo? I got goals here. I got goals, you
Did you
know."
figure out where the breakdown was?
I just messaged her back and was like, "Respect you, blah blah. What has changed?"
Yeah.
I
She
don't.
probably she probably saw one of those elephant in the rooms or whatever those bad videos are that pop up on YouTube.
I don't. She's used places in the past, but not worked the business, and now she has
Oh.
rheumatoid arthritis and can't be a hairdresser because her
Mm,
RA is so bad, and
mm,
she knows that she needs it, but she can't afford it. So we talked about the business, and so she was for
mm.
sure going to do it. And now she's like, "I got to stay true to myself," and I'm like, "Your whole brand that you're building on social media right now is rheumatoid arthritis, and this could help. Anyway, so we'll find out. Today's also the day she takes her medicine once a week, and she had warned me that it makes her really tired and groggy and emotional.
Mm.
So I'm just not going to push anything today. I've said that. We'll see what she says, but I'm going to probably dig back in tomorrow.
My guess is fear too. Like I
Yeah.
feel like fear holds so many people back. Fear of what people think, fear of failing, fear of success, all the fears. I
All
don't
the
know.
fears. Yeah.
I just wonder if that's what maybe holding her back.
She
Yeah.
has a bubble popper.
It's her boyfriend for sure. Because she had already told me she can't like film her content when he's at home because she just feels like uncomfortable if he's around when she's filming. I'm like,
Mm.
and he's helping pay her bills because she can't work. So, and he was out of town when we talked last week, and he was coming back in town yesterday. So,
Oh, red flag.
so I know,
Red flag.
I know. Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
I
Yep.
hate that.
Thanks for letting me share. But yes, I mean, and at the end of the day, thank goodness I had already like made my commitment on my little piece of paper of how many messages I need to send today personally to try to add how many people I need to add this month to try to get my half of to 10 people, for Icon. Because I get at the end of the day, that's all I can commit to. I can't like go lock people up and make them join because I got goals. Be way cooler if I could. Be way cooler. I like at the bottom of page 15. And I know some of you just do audible, but distractions are the enemy of greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a huge one, I feel like, in our business.
Mm-hmm.
400 million distractions. And I think at the end of the day, the important part is knowing what our distractions are,
Mm-hmm.
Because listen, cleaning a bathroom is never a distraction of mine. I would rather message 100 people than clean my bathroom, but I will legit do 40 loads of laundry before I want to message 100 people. So it's like, but I'm aware when I'm like, I should go do laundry. I'm like, oh,
Oh no.
you should actually message. You should actually message people. You're running away. Any other
Yeah.
thoughts before we get into the first commitment? Okay, chapter 5, commitment number 1, commit to the vision and mission of the team. So he gives the example of the tug of war when they're pulling against each other and it goes forever, the football players, and then when he put them on the same team and had them pull against the coaches and the trainers, they won immediately, and that was so easy. And it was just a little, metaphor for working together, working in the same direction. And when I was reading this and the mission, I actually thought that, Sonia, I think it would be neat if we picked your brain, like as the diamond that's on here, and how many
Yeah.
jewels are on your team?
Well, that's a tricky question at this
Okay.
current moment.
Well, then don't even answer, but more than one, more than
Uh-huh.
one jewel on your team. How
Mhm.
do you feel like, especially when your team has been in momentum, what did you do or what did you see working that caused people to all kind of pull in the same direction?
Um,
Because I think it's hard in our business sometimes to, or maybe it just feels hard to me right now.
it was just well, for one, it was just a very different time, like in our company. It was a very different time in our society. Like we're just in a very different place, like post COVID than pre COVID. I mean,
Mhm.
I went diamond during COVID. It was the height of COVID, 2020, like when we hit that, like they kept calling it an artificial boom, but I mean, it hung around for quite a while. So I don't know
Okay.
how artificial it was, but I would say that in the very beginning, we were all rowing in the same direction and we were just all doing the things. all at the
Mhm.
same time. It wasn't even a second thought. It was, we're all doing the things. How can we do the more of the things and it be more fun? And in that chapter, it said something like, if you love competition, you have more commitment. And that stuck with me a little bit because I do remember in the very beginning what made me like kind of like go for it with Jessica would just be like, okay, so when are you gonna go silver? And then like when are it's not if, it was just like when. Like when are you okay, so when are you gonna go gold? And I'm like, I don't even know how many points I have or like how that even works. Like I don't and it was just like, when are you gonna do it? It was an expectation. Like so we just were all doing the things and it wasn't like we expected people just to get on board because it was fun and why not, you know? There were many of us going at the same time. And then also Carissa was like, "Yeah, so I think I'm probably gonna go gold about this time. Like, what about you, Sunny?" And that's when I was like, I have no clue. I really need to get my crap together. You know, I'm like, I don't know. But I think it sparked a little bit of that competition. I'm like, well, I guess I need to do the same thing she's doing. But
Yeah.
I realized like competition is kind of a tricky thing for me. I'm not super great with it. Like I competition can quickly lead me to taking my blinders off and looking left and right, and I don't like how that feels. That's not actually good for me in the long run. But I do have a really strong not giving upness about me. Like I want to see this succeed, and the thought of failing at that is like it's like a I'm not okay with that. And so no matter how hard it gets or how many jewels disappear on my team or whatever, like I have a really strong not giving up on what I've committed to or um so anyway, that
No,
I don't know if that answered your question, but I was kind of tying in chapter 5
yeah,
also, like,
yeah,
yeah.
no, I think that's good. And I don't know what book it was or what it was years ago. But I read some book or I don't know, and they said write down 3 words that if you were to die tomorrow, you would want the majority of the people to be able to describe you. Like everybody that spoke at your funeral could use these 3 words to describe you by. And one of mine was perseverance, which to me is what you're describing. I just have this perseverance of like, I just, when my husband's like, should you give up? And I'm like, well, no, no, that's
No.
the stupidest thing you've ever said. It's definitely not the stupidest thing he's ever said. You've all met him. Um, but he says some pretty stupid. Well, Melanie has not had the opportunity yet, I don't think, but everybody else has met Rob Barkley, and he says some pretty ridiculous things. But to say to me, like, should you give up? I'm like, well, no. Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm 10 years in. Like, it's about to explode again. Like, I truly believe that it's about to explode again. And I don't know what it's going to look like because it's not going to look like COVID, you
Mm.
know, but just that I'm like, and I don't know who's getting in my boat. Like,
Yeah, and I feel the same way. My husband's made comments like that too, and I'm like, no. I mean, I feel like Jules have a grit to them that is next level. I mean, I
yes,
feel like a lot of us don't have we have that attitude of like, heck no, we're not giving up, So, but I feel the same way, Christy. I feel like there's going to be a huge boom, and I'm just not a quitter, man. Just not a quitter. I'm like, I'm going to make this work. And I
yeah,
love the flexibility with my kids too. Like to be able to be like, I feel like now that they're teenagers and at this age, I'm like, oh, over my dead body, are they going to be home alone? I'm going to be watching everything. I know where you are, where you're going, who you're with. I know the parents, you know what I mean? So I feel like more than ever, I have even a huge new why. And I think staying anchored to your why throughout your journey is something we really have to teach people that are thinking we got to think long game, when we're
Mhm.
casting vision. So that's just something that came to mind. I just wanted to share that because I feel like now more than ever, my why is like so anchored into I'm making this work, and there's no giving up. It's just like who's coming along in my boat with me.
yeah, yeah. Who's getting in my boat for
Yeah,
my next
right.
thing?
For who, because we know who got us to that rank necessarily isn't going to be there to get us to the next rank.
Yeah,
True, 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 true. So
and
true.
speaking
Yes, yes, yes. Yes to all that.
and speaking to your why, Melanie, I think Deanna and I with adult children who we've made it through teenage years. I mean, I still got, Andrew, but can both speak to the fact that as they get older, they might speak less, but their faces say so much. And my old kids when they were teenagers and they'd be in the car or be at home. And how's your day? And they might not say anything besides fine, but their face, and when you're there all the time, you see it in a minute. And when you're not, and when you're not home and you're seeing them maybe at dinner, maybe at not, after a football game, whatever, I can't help but think you'll miss things. I don't know because I worked 100 hours a week when Isaac was younger, but then when he was older in high school, I was able to do this. But the things that I caught by just being there all the time, and the friends that I kept him away from, where he'd be like, why can't I go? Blah, blah, blah. And because that kid's been in my car and I've heard the way he talks, and no. And now Isaac's 27. And, I remember when we did his wedding, he's like, well, I got some message from Connor and he wants to come and he can't come. And this was the kid who, when he was in high school, Isaac's like, why can't we go to Connor's house? Why can't I? And I was just like, you just can't. I've decided. But it does make sense. That's okay. And when you're there all the time and you're driving them around, like, it's a great why. Angie, Sonny, you got little ones. But it transitions and you think it's not.
Well, and I think even just like being able to be at these things, to talk to other parents, to kind of know what's going on with these other kids that you may not know otherwise, And so I was picking up Jacob last night at 9:45. He wasn't about to spend the night at that boy's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't care what time it was. He's coming home, and he had football camp this morning. I'm like, no, you're not spending the night there. There's not the parents don't monitor you. No.
Mhm.
So
And you know that because you're around.
yeah, that's what I mean. So it's just like being in tune and knowing. So I love that. Thanks for the validation, because parenting is not for the faint of heart. But anyway, that's a whole nother Zoom.
Yeah, we could do that every day because we have new challenges as parents every single day. We could just have a mom support group. It would not be wasted on any of us. Chapter 6, attack a new opportunity. The only thing I underlined here is on page 34. I underlined teams that feel like they're defending something don't perform well, but teams that attack a new opportunity do great. When I read that, I underlined it, and my thought was how often sometimes how easy it is for us to get defensive in our industry, whether it's about our products or about our industry. I feel like I don't get quite I can't think of the last time I got a pyramid scheme comment, but I remember earlier days of getting that a lot and whatnot, and so hard not to go on the defensive. But when you're defending something, you're coming from a different place than really going after a great opportunity and sharing our great opportunity. Maybe our words are different than rather than defending what we do and why we do it and how we do it, sharing opportunity and love. It's probably just a different energy that I have not really given a lot of thought to. What do you guys think? Or did you not think at all about that?
I wrote,
Take notes.
focus on our commitments, not others' expectations. That was what I took away from that chapter. So, like throwing away what they were wanting you to work on, which is that I get easily distracted by things going on. I'm like, no, I made this commitment. But others may be expecting me to show up on every call or do all the other things, but my commitment is this. So I need to stay focused on that. And I think that was chapter 6. Anyway, that's what I wrote down.
Bet you're probably, based on how you take notes, I just saw the italicized on 35, but I didn't underline it. Care, but don't carry. Which to me, I think was maybe my mistake when I was first building, of trying to carry everybody and do everything for everybody. I think I still have a bit of that in me, like leading team calls for my entire upline, and I'm trying to carry instead of care. And I think that could be a pretty good distinction.
Yeah, but if not you, who?
I know, but I know.
What I've been trying to do lately is empower my leaders because we do a community huddle once a week, and I'll lead one call a month, but I'm trying to get I'm empowering other leaders to step in, and even if it's just even if they do a power half hour, that 30 minutes or whatever. But so far I've been trying to be like, how are you contributing this month? You know what I mean? So empowering some leaders to step in, and it's been working pretty well. They're scared, but they're doing it. So that's the first step to growth.
You want to loan me some?
Just push them out of the desk. Right, Sunny? That's how we have to do it.
Yep. And
Try
sometimes
that.
it's not pretty. Sometimes you push them
Yeah.
out of the nest, you're like, "Well, maybe they needed to stay a little longer." Like,
Well, and then I just step back in, but yeah, I mean, but at the same time, what I try to do is empower them to lead, but I'm still on.
Mhm.
So then I can throw an insight of
Yeah.
maybe what I'm learning or listening to or whatever, so I can add some value as well. But I try to get them to like start the Zoom and be in charge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's great.
Super helpful. Okay, commitment number 2, chapter 7, commit to staying positive together. You guys have thoughts on that?
Stay on the roller coaster together. And then I wrote, appreciation for where you are elevates the mood. And that's very true for me. Reminding myself, I'm here because I want to be there for my teenage girls, right? Like, I'm here. I
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that I have what I have. Sure, my check is thousands of dollars less than it used to be, but I still am very grateful for the number that I see every month because it still makes my jaw drop. Like, appreciation for where I am helps elevate and stay positive for where I'm at. Because it's easy to, you know, on the down part of the roller coaster to look at where you were and be like, oh, well, dang it, dang, I missed that. But, truly the gratitude always changes your mood, and being appreciative. That's what I wrote down. Well, and then also just the 5 ways to stay positive. I wrote those down too. I think those are great, but I'm sure somebody else will say, I want to hear what you guys have to say. I talk too much.
Um,
I listened to it, but I would love those 5 ways if anybody has them to write them down.
number
Yeah.
1.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sonny.
Nope, you're good.
Number 1 is love instead of fear. And I really, really like that. All of them, I didn't underline the whole thing. That one I did. And I know, Melanie, you just wanted me to list them so you could write them down, but I loved, and we know this, we've heard this 400 million times, but I probably just need the reminder almost every day. Too often we let fear rule our mind. We fear making a mistake. We fear what people will think. We fear failure. We fear not living up to our expectations or expectations of others. And the fear often weakens us, limits us, and paralyzes us. The answer is to choose love instead of fear. The minute you focus on love, fear dissipates. And I've tried to stay on that focus this month as I am trying to send way more messages and build my team again and recruit more again, of just trying to just come from a place of love and reminding myself, way back in the day when I first started sharing, I shared with everybody because truly my mindset was like, if the person who had shared with me and she didn't know anything about how gut health could help my brain health, had no idea had horrible migraines, but I used to just come from a place from like, if I knew somebody had horrible migraines and I was not sharing triplex with them, I'd be a horrible person. Like, I have to share with everybody because I love people and I want everybody to feel better. And sorry about that. And because I was coming from that place of love, of just wanting to like make everybody's life better, I wasn't afraid to reach out to everybody. And somewhere over the years, somehow fear has come in.
I think when you have love as the backdrop, and somebody does, okay, I had several thoughts when you were talking about that. Like, first, if you're leading from love and you're sending messages from love, even if you are misunderstood by somebody and they are offended or upset, you can say, I promise this was only coming from love. I didn't mean to offend. Like like that's the best you can do, right? Is if you're leading from love, and then that's the best you can do, right? Like you can't keep everybody happy all of the time. And that to me, I can lay my head down at night knowing that I'm taking these actions not because of a selfish thing or just a desire to meet a goal, but I'm doing this out of love, right? Like I can lay my head down at night knowing, feeling good about it if I have love behind it. Um what was the second one? I
Inside
think
out.
okay.
You don't create your life from the outside in, you create it from the inside out, from your spirit, soul, passion, drive, and power within.
Power within.
So 2 was inside out. 3 was
Mother,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Someone's here for you at the front door.
What is it?
It's like she said you had a package addressed to yourself by accident, and she just want to clarify that.
You guys talk about get to for a minute. Let me go
Okay.
talk to the mail lady.
Okay.
Hey,
Christy gets to go talk to the mail lady.
Yes. Yeah, so I wrote down for the third one, think about what you get to do instead of what you have to do. It's a mindset shift, right? Like, and then I have faith that it will turn around. And then the fifth one I wrote down, talk to yourself instead of listening to yourself, which I think is just really powerful.
Well, and that's a carryover from the energy bus. They talked about that in the energy bus as well, about talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself, take control of that inner loop that's going on. Don't listen to the negative that you're telling yourself. Be intentional about the things you let yourself say.
Mhm.
That's one I grapple with a lot.
Mhm. Do you guys have
So-
anything else from the have faith that it will turn around? I just took that as the obvious, but I didn't have any other notes from that one.
I think, I mean, anytime we can, I think for me, just praying a lot helps me just get through anything hard. And I even actually did a post yesterday. I was just going back to scripture, Second Corinthians 10. I know that we're not doing a Bible study right now, but taking every thought captive to Christ is what came to mind, can really change your day, your decisions, your action, your life. So just like taking those thoughts captive and identifying thought patterns and learning to choose the positive thoughts, but it has to be intentional, or it's so easy. I remember a book of soundtracks. I don't know if anybody read that, but that's another really good mindset book. But it's like sometimes I'll tell myself, switch that soundtrack. In my head, I'm like, nope, going down the wrong soundtrack. Need to change the channel. That visual helps me sometimes when I'm stuck in that like negative loop pattern that we all,
Yep. Let's see. That's really all I have. Well, I mean, commitment number 3 was also a part of chapter 7, right? Or was that 8?
Well, commitment 3 starts is chapter
Okay.
8.
Okay. My notes were wrong. Maybe we should wait for Christy.
Well, I think there's a lot to talk about in chapter 8, though, because right before we got on, I discovered that I had not yet read chapter 8, so I just did. And I don't know, I think there's a lot to talk about.
I agree.
It was chapter 8.
Me too.
You want to go first, Sunny, with your notes?
I don't have a ton. But commit to giving your best. And then I wrote, use your freaking planner, Sunny. Like that's my best. I am at my best when I am writing things down and I am using my planner and I'm not living moment by moment, but I am planning ahead, even just a little bit, right? Because and I think it's also like we're in the summer months. My husband's a professor, right? So our schedules are all off. The girls aren't in school. So that's fine, right? To a certain extent, but it's not my best. I'm not at my best if I'm not staying on top of things and writing things down, because it's all living in my head and I'm like squirrel brain, and whatever's right in front of me is what happens, and it's not intentional living. And so that's what I need to do. And okay, and I also loved from the definition of discipline, because I've always had a complicated relationship with the word discipline, because it's punishment to me. Discipline means you're being disciplined, you're punished, something's wrong, you're not doing enough. Like, that's what I need a different soundtrack for discipline. And so this gave me a good soundtrack for what discipline is, right? So devotion plus caring more plus effort plus discipline plus consistency equals giving your best. And I appreciated that, like having devotion and caring more and effort. Yes, I love all of those things, right? Like, so maybe I do like discipline, right? Plus discipline plus consistency. I really appreciated that part. That's all I have.
Anybody else have stuff? I loved it so much because I love also that he, brought up the fact that I know you might not be at 100% every day based on how you're feeling, but you can always give 100% of what you have. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's really important because some days we just have more to give, and I think it's important on those days to give more, because it would be really easy to be like, I got by with not doing so much, instead of being like, give your best, because what if tomorrow you don't feel so good? Or, I think um a lot of coaches in our business, they'll say, like, if you write down the 3 things that you really need to get done today, just don't go to sleep until they're done. Like, you might have wrote them in your planner to do it at noon, and noon passed and you didn't get it done. It doesn't mean you don't have to do them. It just means get it done right before you go to bed. And I think, Sunny, you saying you having your planner, and I've got my planner, and then my to-do list stays like right next to me all the time. But the reason I keep it with me all the time is because things pop into my head all the time that I need to get done, that I forgot to get done. And it can derail me unless I just write it down. Just because it popped in my head doesn't mean I need to do it right now. If I write it down, then I know I'm not going to forget it, and I can get right back on track. And I know everybody is not like that. I don't, my sweet husband, there's no telling what letters we could add to his, any type of diagnosis, but it's not that easy for him. Like, if he gets off track, it's gonna take a time. So that works for me. It doesn't mean it would work, I can acknowledge that. Really just digging into being consistent with your actions, habits, rituals, and routines. Because we know what makes us at our best. I mean, my planner has this really cool thing right at the top where it's got its own little habit tracker each week with 5 things. And I know that I'm doing my best. Like, the 5 things I write down every week, where I can check it off each day if I do it or not, is my IPA, my income properties work for our other business, to write, because I just, whether it's in my journal or whatever, read my scriptures and exercise. Like, that is just the core of, if I'm doing those things, everything else is going to be okay, and those things are different for everybody, but just being consistent. And I
On that
think the
note,
best way to be consistent is to track it. Like, give yourself a little, you know?
on that point of, you might not be at 100% every day, but you can always give 100% of what you have. A thought that I had related to that is, on those days when you're not feeling 100%, or for me anyway, when I'm not feeling 100%, it can be really easy for me to go, yeah, I'm not feeling it today, I'm not going to do it. Whereas if I would at least get in action, I start to feel better. So, and I think that's where the discipline comes in. It's the doing what you need to, even when you're not feeling it. because the getting in action is actually, I don't know, the medicine, if you will, that makes me start to feel better.
Yeah. And I think, that's where the discipline comes in in a positive way, doing what you need to be consistent at, even when you don't feel like doing it.
Right.
One of my triggers for when I'm like not in it, but I need to make myself get in it. And we've talked about this before, but like music, like to set the tone, like the right kind of music to get you in the right mood. But also, I'm a very if it's out of sight, it's out of mind person. I'm the worst about it, and I'm just learning this about myself. So like putting my planner in front of my face every day, it's always out. It drives my husband nuts because he's a putter awayer, and I'm like, if you put my favorite pen away, it does not exist to me anymore. So just please, I know it's in the way, it's out, but you can't put it away or it doesn't exist to me. And so like one of the things that switches my brain on is to just open up my computer and look at my back office. And then I'm like, oh, I have so much to do. I can see it now. There it is. This is okay. Now I have an action step, right? Like, and so that helps me like get it in front of my face because if it's out of I will do anything else than what
Yes.
I need to do. Anyway.
And I think the easiest thing in our business is to not open our back office. Doesn't hurt if we don't open it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially when things aren't where, it's where we're real fun. It's real fun to look at when you're
In
going
moments.
and you're counting down, right? That's when you're like, I need 200 more or whatever, and then 99 or whatever. But yeah, it can be. And this is when the gritty work comes in though, I think, too.
Yeah.
And it's not always fun, but like, I don't know who says this, but I feel like I hear it all the time. Success isn't always sexy. It's those boring, repetitive things that we don't want to do what gets us to where we want to be, And that could be with anything in life, I feel like, I mean, because I used to do Pilates twice a week. And now it's like, it's not like if I'm going to Pilates, it's like, what time am I going? Like now it's like non-negotiable. And I work my whole schedule around, even to the point of picking the kids up, coordinating moms with the schedule. They all know Melanie's not taking in the mornings to any of these camps, but she'll pick up every day. That's cool. But I will not be taking because I'm committed to my workouts. Because if I don't, it's easy for everything else to be put aside. And that's what I've always done. And I'm like, no more. Like my self-care matters too and my mental health. So you got to set those boundaries and take that stand, right? Or it just wouldn't happen because we give up so much. So
Yeah. If I don't work out in the morning, it won't happen. I'm always amazed at people that go like late afternoon. I'm like, you're amazing. Because I just have to, like this morning, I was putting on my running shoes and I almost turned on my computer. And I was like, if I turn it on, I won't.
no,
It'll be 2 hours later before I go. So I just I don't anything. But like you were saying, Angie, just the getting started, I think that applies to everything, whether it's working out. Like you think you don't want to go walk for 2 miles, but if you say, I'm just going to go walk for 10 minutes, it might turn into 15. It might not. If you say, I'm just going to message 2 people, you might find I could go ahead and do 2 more. And if you just did the 2, that's okay. That's way better than zero.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
One more thing I was thinking about too, is something that I'm learning about myself and just being a woman in general. And I know some of you guys are like menopause, postmenopause, whatever.
Old, just say old.
So I'm just saying your hormones are different than mine when I am cycling, right? So like when we're in our luteal phase, like it's okay that I'm just not getting as much done. It's okay that my energy is lower. And because I would have beat myself up for that, like I mean I have, like instead of just being like, this is my natural, I will give 100% more in just a few more, give me a few more days and I will have so much more energy. And that's okay. Right. Like, kind of working with my cycle instead of beating myself up for not having the same consistent energy. That's the difference between women and men for one thing. Like,
That's so much that you brought that up because I have only recently started wearing one of those rings that tracks everything. And so it's tracking my cycle and it finally has caught up to when it's about to start based on my temperature and all those things. It's so bananas because again, being almost 52, it can be a little erratic. But now I'm watching it and it was like, you will start your period in, 4 days. And prior to that, the reason I even looked at it, because I found myself like being a little on edge and a little not as kind and tired. And so I looked, I'm like, I wonder, and I looked, it was like, you're about to start your period. And I was able to literally tell Rob, I'm like, I just, I'm not mad at you because takes everything personal. I'm not mad at you. I'm about to start my period and I just am not feeling very nice. So if it's okay for me to just be left alone, to
Not feeling
just
very nice.
watch TV or work out and then not talk to you about it or not tell you anything about what's going on in the business that we own now. Like just give me just a day or two
Mhm.
and then it'll be okay. And that's the first time I've ever been able to do that. Like I've had conversations like, you know what? We should just maybe not talk for a day. But then he's like, what I do. And this time I was like, look, the app says
Here's my
your
data.
mood may be off. You may be tired. It says, and
Mhm.
there's data. And he was like, and he literally, it was almost 2 days of where we just kind of moved around each other. And then on Sunday, I was good again. And I started on Monday, but on Sunday, I was like, okay, I'm ready to engage again. And I did. But also, I'm a little tired because I
Mm.
started yesterday. But knowing that is really helpful because there are times of the month where we're like, let's do it. Let's go. And
Mhm.
there are some times where we're like, could we just take a nap?
Or it's like, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna quit. Like, how many people on our teams are like
Yeah.
cycling and about to jump off the cliff of not doing this anymore? And if somebody had just said, honey, your hormones are being wonky. It's not you. It's not your business. It's just today. Like, don't quit on your worst day,
Acknowledge it.
literally. Like a lot of people I think are doing that because we're just not paying attention to how unique our bodies are and how they work. And that's
So
unfortunate.
It's so interesting you're bringing that up because I feel like I've been more in tune with that too, with the 3-day metabolic resets, because I always beat myself up. And then sometimes, like, oh, I can't, for example, I didn't know all the things about fasting and when you should do the metabolic reset and all this stuff I've learned, right? Or like I know I can't handle workouts and the reset. It's not a good idea. Like I've been mixing things and like, I'm learning that too. I think Amy Welch talked about that. And I was like, oh, how interesting. I didn't even learn, right? But paying attention to that does matter because how you feel, and then ChatGPT helps me too. But I was like, oh, well, see, that's no wonder I didn't do as well in my workouts or like didn't feel as strong. But this week I'm killing it, right? Like you feel strong again, and you're like, okay, yay. Like these are
Mhm.
this is what I need to be really recruiting during this,
Yeah.
right?
But
Like,
no joke, like,
but when you're
yes.
feeling better, how
Uh-huh.
that translates to everything, right, in our business. And so it's like, and then give yourself grace though, too. I think on those harder days of, hey, today I'm just not feeling it. And that's okay. Give
Mhm.
Mhm.
yourself grace that maybe today's not the day, that maybe your biggest thing you did was, keep your kids alive and, everybody's fed and everybody went to bed on time. And you're like, you did it. You accomplished what you needed
Mhm.
to that day. So I
Mhm.
think we got to give ourselves, I think we're really hard on ourselves as women. And I don't know, the word grace just keeps coming to my heart. Like I'm not good at giving myself grace, but I'm really good at giving everybody else grace.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I need to be better about that with my personal self.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else have other stuff?
Such great
Such
content
good
today,
stuff.
ladies.
I
I love
know.
it. Feel so validated with all my hormones and my parenting today.
Well, I will tell you, when Reset first came out and I lost over 30 pounds doing it very consistently, I learned that if I did it when I was on my period, I wouldn't lose any weight. And so I always tell people, hey, do it whenever you want. But if you're about to start your period, you may not want to do it then,
Really good tip though. Yeah.
and I think your body needs more whatever during that time period. I
It
don't know.
does.
I
It
am
needs
not a
more
doctor,
support.
but I'm on
Well,
GLP-1 and I know that even with that, when I'm on my period, I need more food. I
well,
can
and I would also say I I haven't had enough people doing the reset recently to talk about it, but if somebody wanted to ask for the optimal time, I would say do a fast right after your period, like during the ovulatory, like that's when our
Mhm.
body can handle the most stress because I mean, fasts are stressful on our bodies, and if you do it at the wrong time, and if you're a person who already deals with over like a lot of cortisol and stress in your body and nervous system stuff, you don't want to stress your body out even more. That's like
Mhm.
too like exercise cycling, you know, like you want to do your hit workouts when you have the most energy, and during
Yeah.
your luteal phase you probably don't want to do as much of that, like because you want to work with your body's natural energy instead of against it so you don't add more stress to it unnecessarily. So just
It's so
all
funny. We
about
just listened to our bodies because I didn't even know that, but I knew I felt best right after my period to fast. Like that's when I
mhm,
typically want to do that. But it's like I didn't even know that. But it's like I've been trying to just be more in tune with how I'm feeling. And yeah,
mhm,
this feels like a good time. It's more like intuitive, like like I didn't really
yeah,
know, but I've been like actually doing my resets or fasting right after my period. It's like when I feel
mhm.
my best. It's
I'm
interesting.
feeling a training coming on. I feel
I
like we
know.
need
I'm
it.
like,
We
this
need
is so
this.
good because this is like, I didn't even know this, but like,
Yeah,
I've
but
been
you
listening to
into
my
yeah.
body going, I feel pretty good. I think I can handle
Uh-huh.
it. But other times I'm like, heck no, I need
Mhm.
to eat. You know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah.
or like, I can't
Yes.
handle workout. I can't handle workouts and fasting. Nope, not with these kind of workouts. They're tough, like,
Yep.
nope. So I just know my body and know what I think I can
Mhm.
handle, especially autoimmune, cortisol, like you said, nervous system, all of those things. Yeah,
Mhm.
this could be a really good training.
I
We're
really
ready for it,
think,
Sunny.
I think that there's a training coming. I like it.
Good stuff.
Well, I think what a good call today. Thank you guys
That's
so
good.
much. Thank you so much. All right, next week, what do we have? 9 through, I don't know, the other third. I don't
See.
know. Are
Yeah.
you looking at that graphic? It doesn't matter, right?
I was about to go look for it. I can
It's
look
no
it up.
big deal.
Yeah.
Probably whoever is going to be on this call with us will look at the graphic.
9 through 15.
9 through 15. Okay, awesome. All right, you guys. Thank you for sharing so much and being on here. I
Thank
love it so
you.
much.
All right.
Bye,
You
See you
guys have a
next
good
guys.
week.
day.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.